We live, Grant.
It's Friday.
It's
That was your
Friday.
favorite. That was your favorite song.
No, it wasn't. We are sending data. All right, now we're live on everything.
That's quick.
You know the deal. You know the deal, Grant. I got to change these thumbnails.
Man, I don't know why that doesn't do it. Why don't you do it before we go live?
Well, we can go Streamlabs, or we could set up a stream, but that takes too much time.
Streamlabs.
You can do Streamlabs and add a thumbnail before you go live.
Well, I know that. It just
No, you don't.
I know that.
No, you didn't.
I just know that it takes time. That Streamlabs is terrible. We couldn't even get it to work. Maybe we should pay for somebody to show us how to do that. If anybody knows how to use Streamlabs, hit us up. If you want to give us a childlike tutorial.
I know how to use Streamlabs, dude.
No, you don't.
Yeah, I do.
You don't.
I'm for real, dude. I do. For real.
Mm-hmm. You're like Corky when you trying to show how people how to use it.
Corky. All right. Now, Twitch. Looks good. Now, Rumble.
Hey, why don't you turn your phone off and be professional? I mean, nobody's going to call you, but, you know.
I mean, so many missed messages right there.
God.
I got like no text or nothing.
Nothing. Your phone's drier than the Sahara.
All right, Grant. Let me tweet this stuff out. And then we'll go into a trailer reaction for a new game before we actually start the podcast.
I'll tweet it out for you.
No.
You said I can't do that. You said I can't even tweet right.
No. All right. So let's get let me get that YouTube tweet out. You know what I mean there, Grant? You know what I mean, Grant?
So basically I'm just worthless. Is that what you're saying?
Huh?
I'm just worthless. Is that what you're saying?
I mean, kind of.
Basically.
Episode 66.
Is it 66? Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is 66. Getting 3 more episodes, 69.
Oh, man. That one's going to be sponsored by OnlyFans.
Yeah. I post that out. Now let me do the Rumble tweet, and then we're ready to go. Ready to go, Grant.
Oh, Rumble.
Oh, Rumble.
Oh, dark closet of Rumble.
It's probably not even working. Yeah, Rumble isn't going well for us.
I don't know why.
I think we really need to have special guests on. Think Charlie Kirk could come over here?
Maybe.
You think so? What about Dan Bongino? Get him over.
They got to talk about video games, though.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I'm like, look. I understand it's cool to talk about Trump, but we need some game stuff here.
Mm-hmm. Live on Rumble. #Rumble. #gaming on Rumble. #game magazines.
That's right.
Oh no, I can't think of any more hashtags, Grant.
How about #shut the fuck up?
You want me to do that one? I'll do it.
That could be that'd be our hashtag.
I'll do it, Grant. I will do it.
I bet you won't. I bet you $1 you won't. I don't think you will. You ain't tough.
I'll do it.
You ain't tough.
Oh yeah, I'll do it. No, I won't do that.
I know you ain't gonna do that.
That's gonna be. We don't want to do that. All right, Grant. What's on the docket today? We're going to have gaming news.
Mm-hmm.
Disgruntled Gamer Rant. We're not going to reveal it yet. Top 10 list. We won't reveal that yet. And the Game Gambit, which is our random roulette of talking about a video game. But the main subject, Grant, is the rise and fall of gaming magazines.
All right.
I think that's a good topic to talk about.
It is.
And that's what we're going to do. All right, but first, let me pull up our YouTube. God, I got fucking dog hair everywhere. God, my Shibas shed like crazy. All right.
You got cats.
Oh no, my son's allergic to cats.
Is
All
he?
right. Yeah, he is. All right, Grant. Let me pull up this video.
All right.
You're not very talkative today.
No, I'm waiting. I'm keeping the energy. Keeping the energy contained.
You're not very talkative. Not very talkative at all.
Well, you're over there setting up the thing.
I'm doing everything over here.
I'm saying, well, you're like
I'm the
DJ.
command and control of this
you're in the command. You're in the command center. What can I say?
All right.
All right.
Let me know when you see that.
I see it.
Let me make it full screen for you.
It's called UnAwake.
It's called UnAwake. It's
That's what I just said.
Souls, first-person Dark Souls RPG.
You just read the title.
Well, of course I did. Why wouldn't I?
No, but the way you said it was like you were like, oh yeah, this is
starting
first-person Dark Souls.
Angels have fallen, and demons have risen in their legions. You are an unawake. The eternal fate of all humanity lies with you. Rise above the darkness, bring forth the light, and unleash the fury of heaven in the chaos of hell.
Fractured memories I have. Memories I cannot explain. Memories from beyond. Memories of war. And then I descend. Always descend.
This goes in the gameplay and everything, but we're not going to share all that.
Has there ever been like a first-person RPG like that? I'm talking about it's like a full, like I know, like in something, like in like no. I mean, I know, like in Elden Rings, you can like change the view and stuff like that. But I'm talking about like that's strictly like a first-person.
That is a first-person. I mean, that's all it is.
No, I know that. I'm saying, has there ever been another game like that? That's just strictly first-person RPG.
Well, Skyrim technically, but I think you can change the view.
You can change the view, yeah, I know that.
Yeah. But I don't know. But I mean, we just had one before this, a trailer called Covenant, a game called Covenant. That was the creators of Doom, Halo. It had a ton of people that was working on that game.
Mm-hmm.
And this is another one added to the list. So when it comes to these medieval, FPSs, they're really bringing it. And then you have Doom: The Dark Ages coming out too.
Is it what country is this doing this game?
What country?
Western or is it Eastern?
Well, let's look it up.
Because Eastern is they putting out some bangers.
Let's look it up. Let's see. It is Reality Arts Studio is the developer.
Oh, nice.
And they are based in, let's see, Reality Arts Studio. You could be doing all this. I mean, like you ask a question, you got Google right in front of you.
You know what's funny? What's funny is like I
They're
would
located
have
in Turkey.
Turkey.
What did you just call me? Call me a turkey?
Yeah. No, they yeah, you still live there on Turkey Creek.
Yeah. What?
Then you
Turkey
live on
Creek. You talking about Catalpa Creek? Oh my Catalpa.
The
game looks good, dude.
It does look good.
It looks good. Another good one. So yeah, we got Covenant, UnAwake, and Doom. Dark Ages.
The Western developers should just take a break for a while. Just sit back and let the Eastern developers handle it and learn from it.
Well, I don't know what you would call Turkey. They're in the Middle East.
Well, it's not in America, so
yeah, it's not in technically Europe, I guess you can say. Or are they? Are they in Europe or are they in the Middle East, Grant?
Man, come on, man. What happened to Mr. AP European History over there?
Hey.
What happened?
What happened to Mr. Google over there? I know you don't want to open up your Google on your computer because your computer probably shut down.
Probably shut down. Exactly.
Right. But no, okay. So this game looks legit. So finally, another legit looking game. I like the combat. It already looks better than what is it? Avowed.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Shit.
I mean, come on now. What is Xbox going to do with all these games coming out like Doom and? Well, I mean, I guess they are Doom. So, but I mean, that's still going to come out on PlayStation 5 eventually. It's not really exclusive. Maybe for the first couple of months it will be.
You think they're going to fix that? You think they're going to pull back and?
I don't know what they're doing, man. They don't got there's no plans for a new console. So, are they just going to turn into a big game developer?
That's what it seems like.
All these companies underneath them.
It seems like they're conceding the war. Is what it feels like.
I mean, you saw those sales earlier, right?
Oh yeah, it was bad.
Oh my god, it was real bad, dude. I had to do that oof meme.
Oh yeah,
on them, on that GIF.
And then PlayStation's over there just flying high.
Yeah,
that's because it's the thing about it is it's not even necessarily that it's just a better system. It's the fact that they just give all their games to everybody.
Well, it's like they're not even trying anymore.
They're not exactly. It's like they've given up.
They're not even trying anymore. All right, let me retweet that. All right, Grant. That was it for the trailer. We can go right into the podcast.
You ready to get started?
Yep. All right. Switching over now.
Let's do it. What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Grant Rolling here with the DMG Gaming Podcast. And as always, I am joined by the man who does what Nintendo don't. My boy, Ed Phillips. What up, my boy?
Did you just throw a old Sega
Hit you with it. You know, I'm dropping some hints, so I'm just dropping some hints.
What are you doing with that old Sega ad?
I'm just dropping some hints.
Sega, we're going to talk about them today.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. All right. Grant, you ready to get in that gaming news, buddy?
Let's do the gaming news. Surely it's positive.
Oh, on this podcast? All the time. What are you talking about?
Sure, all we do is talk about positive news.
That's right, we do. Okay, Grant, first piece of news. Let me pull it up. But it looks like GTA 6 is looking to make millions.
Millions?
Let me change that.
Yeah, change that.
Billions. All right. What was that, Grant?
That was me being unprofessional.
Did I just hear your phone, buddy?
That was the clock.
I just heard your phone go off. All right. But yeah. So yeah, GTA 6 is looking to make billions, dude. Like
in the first year. That's what's incredible.
Well, they're creating an economy within the game, you know, where you can get the gear and sell it for real money and stuff. I'm not sure if they're going to tax that like within game or, you know,
I feel like now
like a certain percentage they get. But that's all going to be part of their game economy. It's not like, you know, you have some games where it's actually against their I guess times of service and stuff like that. Actually buying currency with real money.
Yeah.
We should actually have a big problem with the Path of Exile 2. And, Path of Exile has a big, and even Diablo too, like those action RPGs.
Yeah.
Where people buy currency with real money on these sites.
Oh, yeah.
That they get like currency from and all that stuff.
They used to have to, back in the day on UO, we would buy 1 million gold on eBay. You sell everything on eBay then. It's about off on eBay.
And they sell real in-game items for money too. But this is going to be part of the game. So I'm curious how they're going to do it.
They're going to make, this is where they're going to start.
In-game currency you buy or something like that? Cryptocurrency? I don't know.
Yeah, well, gaming crypto
has been released about it.
Gaming crypto is already starting to take off, so I wouldn't be surprised if they start implementing it into this game.
Well, cryptocurrency itself is taking off big time.
Yeah.
Like especially Bitcoin and everything.
I know, because you still have all yours.
And with the new... You had to bring that up, didn't you? All right, but with the new administration coming in that's favorable to cryptocurrency, that's going to change a lot of things too. So we'll see how it goes, Grant.
Yeah.
All right, Grant. Next piece of news. Let me pull it up.
Hey, I'm going to add something that I saw earlier.
What's that?
Like at the end of this.
What's that, Grant?
Has to do with our old friends, PC Gamer.
What about them?
They basically called everybody that has a blue check mark idiots.
PC Gamer did?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Not the well, that's GameSpot too, but PC Gamer has the same activist brigade working for them.
Yeah.
The pronoun in their bio with
the pronoun posse
and all that stuff. Yeah, they have that over there big time at PC Gamer.
Oh yeah.
I love making fun of them though, like on their
Twitter account.
It's really fun to make fun of them.
I know, but what's funny is they made fun of, and then they went out and bought a blue check mark.
Yeah, well, it's funny. Also, like I love their gatekeepers. Like you have people for like IGN, PC Gamer.
Yeah.
This might be just their employees too. You don't know.
It probably is.
Troll accounts or whatever.
Yeah, the banners and stuff. Yeah.
But you have these gatekeepers for these major game publishers that come at you on your replies, like, "Oh, IGN is not a fault for this," or PC Gamer.
I go and tell you one thing: they don't come at us.
Yeah. Oh, they're going to get it when they come.
They can. We drop the flame on them.
So Grant, let me enlarge this a little bit. There we go.
What does that say? Surely it's
Go
good
ahead and
news.
read that for me, Grant.
Ubisoft value tanks. Market cap dropped 85% from 2021 to 2025. Imagine that. We showed the chart that in 2021 that Ubisoft stock was trading at $20 a share, roughly. Averaged out at about $20 a share. Now, in 2025, it's down to like $1.50 a share. So if you had tons, basically, for those who don't understand mathematics, if you had lots of money, you now have no money. You're now broke.
Grant. Ubisoft. I thought we'd go one podcast without talking about
Well,
Ubisoft.
they can't stop fucking up. Like,
just one podcast without bringing up Ubisoft.
And they got 𝐬𝐮𝐬𝐫𝐷 right there.
Oh, 𝐬𝐮𝐬𝐫𝐷, the legendary samurai himself.
I don't think that game's not coming out.
See that legendary samurai?
That game's not coming out. They keep saying it's coming out. It's not.
And all the legendary samurais they could have picked out of that time period, they chose that legendary samurai.
Yep.
It's a legendary samurai.
Yep.
Within 3 months, became a legendary samurai. It
was like 15 months. 15 months of like training that people that samurais have trained for their whole lives.
Become a legendary samurai.
Yeah.
All right, but yeah. Anyway, Ubisoft. What else to say? They're just tanking. We talk about it all the time. They used to be a great company. You used to look forward to those Ubisoft drops in gaming. Now it's kind of like, how effed up is the game going to be when it drops? Like, how many bugs is the game going to have? How many glitches? How many patches they have to do before it's a complete game?
anytime
That's
that you
what
saw
we're worried about
Ubisoft
every time an Ubisoft game drops.
from 2020 to before, anytime you saw Ubisoft, you're like, oh wow, this is gonna be a great game. Now it's like whenever you used to pick up a Nintendo game and it had 𝐬𝐿𝐽𝐻 on the cover.
Yeah, man. Like, they're the publisher for The Division. I love the Division games, man. I love playing them. But
Hey, is Tom Clancy still alive?
I don't know. I feel like there's a Tom Clancy book that comes out like every year. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Him and Danielle Steele, I think, still putting out books.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, he's 66 years old.
Well, he either one or two things.
No, never mind. He died.
Okay.
He died in 2013. My bad.
Okay. Well, rest in peace to Tom Clancy, who is now rolling over in his grave, knowing that his work is being tanked by Ubisoft.
Yeah, Tom Clancy's The Division. Good games. They're fun.
Yeah.
Fun to play. But, they're just kind of, I don't know what's going to happen to the new one, if that's going to just disappear, if they're even making it anymore.
Division's part of like the Rainbow Six saga and all that, right?
Well, yeah, it's kind of like but it's in its own little world where the government has collapsed in America and around the world, and it takes place in different parts of America. One was New York, and I forget maybe it was L.A. for the other one, but no, one was mainly New York and Washington D.C.
Talk about another game that was great was Rainbow Six.
Yeah, those were good. Rainbow Six Siege is still popular. That's still doing well. And,
yeah, it's just time for Ubisoft. It's time to sell. It's time to sell It's time to sell.
Move on and clean house.
Yeah, because if you drop any further, you're not going to be worth nothing. And then
Yeah.
Then me and you should just buy it. If it keeps dropping, maybe if nobody comes in, maybe me and you can scrape up $1.50.
There you go. No, we're not that rich, Grant. Sorry.
I don't know. It might not be where we might can get it for. We might can get it for like $10,000 if they keep going.
But yeah, I do think Tencent's going to sweep in and buy it out. That's what it looks like.
I think what they're going to do, honestly, I think because they got so much money over there and I think they'll actually overpay just to make sure that they get it.
Yeah, I would say.
I mean, they're not going to overpay by like
that would
tons.
be like we said last podcast. That would be a huge stepping stone for them to like attack, going straight, balls to the wall into Western gaming and just take it over.
Yeah, like if they're only worth like $350 million, I could see them coming in and say, "Hey, we'll give you $400 million for it."
Yeah. But then I just see. I don't know how I feel about a Chinese-owned company. I mean, they can't be any worse than what it is now, but a Chinese-owned company doing those types of games. You know what I mean? Because most of it's ran. Most of their company. I mean, this is CCP controlled. I mean, there's goods and bad things about it. Like Game Science, we got Wukong. That was a fantastic game. So I mean, for gamers, it's good that we get these really good games from these Eastern developers, or we're starting to. But when it comes to the long run, when it comes to a lot of these titles, are they going to keep the historical reference, or even the Division and games like that are very American?
What they should do.
They're very American.
Yeah,
about American citizens, about American troops. A lot of those Tom Clancy games.
What they should do is just take over the, after they buy it, just make sure that it's being ran properly.
Well, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, and what I mean by that is like it could be like 10 cents of America,
Yeah. All right. Let me stop sharing that.
I mean, you can still have your American developers. It's not your blue-haired American developers, actual American developers who know how to develop.
What are you trying to say, Grant? You don't like those developers?
No, not at all.
You don't like girl characters that look like me?
No, some people do.
Yeah, some people do.
The people who work there do.
Okay. All right, Grant. I mean, that's the news for this week.
I mean, hey, there's not really anything we can say. We can't just create news out of the air. There's not really anything going on.
All right, Grant. Let's get into the main subject.
All right.
And then we'll get into our Disgruntled Gamer Rant for the week,
Okay.
our top 10, and then the Game Gambit.
Game Gambit.
The Game Gambit. All right. The main subject of this week is the rise and fall of gaming magazines.
Oh, boy.
Gaming magazines. All right. So let's let me pull up our first picture. Pictures. Gaming magazines. Oh, yeah. Here we go. All right, Grant.
All right. What you got?
All right. So let's all right, before we start, this is the 80s. This is some of your first gaming magazines ever right here. Electronic Games. You remember these?
Oh, yeah.
These were in the 80s. All right. So what we want to talk about, Grant, is we already know why gaming magazines disappeared, right? Because of
the internet, basically.
The internet, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's an obvious.
I mean, you can't compete. I mean, it gets to a point to where when it's so accessible.
Everything went to digital content.
Yeah.
Everything did. Online, whatever. Everything went digital.
Yep.
So these weren't going to last that long. But when they did, they had a great cultural impact. And we'll get into all the other gaming magazines too. But
kind of like early IGN. Remember that? Remember the good old days?
Yeah. Early IGN. All right. So anyway, let's talk about the rise of gaming magazines. And we'll talk about some of our earliest publications, this is one of them, Electronic Games. It's one of the earliest publications. As you see, there's Arcade Game right there. I think that's what, Centipede?
Centipede.
Yeah. Man, I love those. Look at the drawing on the side of the arcade game.
Yeah, dude. That's so.
Like, I just love that artwork.
Yeah,
from
my favorite
80s and early 90s games.
My favorite one, and it's my favorite one of all time, is the Ninja Turtles cabinet.
Yeah.
With this guy April O'Neil with the camera. Even though it didn't, I mean, like that April O'Neil was hot. And then of course I had the turtles and stuff like that. But yeah, that was my favorite one. Like those cabinets, man, are incredible because it was artwork, man.
Oh, it was.
Yeah.
Like the Final Fantasy. I mean, even the old game covers, Final Fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the Final Fantasy Chrono Triggers. Even before that, you had so many good, cool artwork on game sets. And again, you had the old. And when we talk about another game or gaming, you talk about Dungeons and Dragons artwork back in the 80s and early 90s.
Oh yeah,
those were
fantasy art.
They just look good. They look so good, dude.
Like every woman had big titties.
That's right.
Everyone.
Yep. And this article, believe it or not, about women joined the arcade revolution.
Uh-oh.
Yep. And this was in the 80s.
Yeah.
And they talk about inclusiveness and all that stuff about like modern day inclusiveness. This was back in the 80s. They were talking about it too. And no one cared.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Like, I thought it was cool. When I was in arcade playing a game, even as a kid, I'd have women like,
hold on. What do we always say? What do we always say when we're young? What do we always say? What would be like the coolest chick? What would we always say?
A girl that plays video games, dude.
Dude, if we could find girls that play video games or like Dragon Ball Z.
Now it's common.
Now it's common. So I'm saying we're born in the wrong era.
Well, you remember playing like arcade games and you get a crowd if you're doing good or something like that? I used to love that, dude.
Oh yeah. That's how I was with Samurai Showdown. That was like truly the only game I was really good at.
I was good at like Knights of the Round and those fighting,
Knights of the Round,
screen scrolling fighting games, action games.
Do you remember? Okay, so it seemed like Pizza Hut always had the same two games. I know they always had Golden Axe, and they always had that wrestling game, the WWF game.
Yeah,
it was like where everybody looked like everybody was like super swole. It was like I can't remember what it was called.
Dude, does Pizza Hut still do lunch buffets anymore?
They're bringing it back.
Man, that was like, you remember after a game or something like that, or after a little sporting event as a kid, everyone would go up, take the team to the lunch buffet Pizza Hut.
You put the one by the high school.
Oh yeah,
you put the one by the high school out of business.
Lunch buffet in the early 90s. Oh man. Boy, you can go better than that.
Remember, we used to like leave school and then go down there and eat and then come back.
Yep.
Guys, this is like people don't understand. Like back when we were in high school, like there was like no worries about guns and stuff. Man, we had like the redneck guys would have like shotguns in the back of their, like in the thing of their truck. Just on, no big deal. And we didn't have security guards. We would just walk out with no cameras. We'd just walk off school and go eat and come right on back.
Dude. All right. So anyway, let me close that. Anyway, so all right. Now let's talk about the magazines, dude, that really shaped the industry. Like this was a good one back in the 80s, but it was arcade. It wasn't like the NES wasn't really out at the time. I mean, eventually it did and they covered it, but let's talk about the ones that shaped the game magazine or video games in general. All right, so let me share this. Let's talk about the first one, Grant.
Nintendo Power.
Nintendo Power.
Oh yeah.
Dude,
the first one was just called Atari. It was Atari magazine.
Yeah. But that didn't shape it, dude.
No, it didn't. It didn't.
It wasn't one of the major ones.
No, it wasn't. It was just there around during that time, and then after the crash, they went out of business.
I consider there's three major ones, which we'll get into. Nintendo Power is one of them. All right, there's some other ones, but they weren't as influential as these three.
Yeah, there's always a big three.
Yeah, Nintendo Power 1988 to 2012. He actually went into the 2010s.
Yeah.
All right, it got that far in this age of digital content.
Which is crazy because I can't remember the last time I looked at a Nintendo Power.
I used to collect these, dude.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Like, I have them somewhere in a bin, and I have this one.
Oh
Super
man,
Metroid one.
If
I
you
have
them,
all the Zelda ones because they were cool looking.
Some of them are expensive, man.
Yeah,
they're probably burned. They're probably burned down.
I go to like every time I'd go to like a store or something like that, and I could get them, I would get them. I'd get like Game Pro, Nintendo Power. What's the other one? Electronic Gaming Monthly,
EGM, and Game Pro.
Yeah.
Then he had some other ones for like PC. PC Gamer was actually a magazine.
We'll get into those too.
The crazy thing is I did the same thing, and I used to love it. It was always great because in Starkville, I go to Kroger.
Yeah,
I go to Kroger, and I'd always, before I look at the gaming magazines, I had to look at the Bikini Lowrider magazine because it was always right there.
Dude, there are some gaming magazines I'm going to talk to you about that you were like, you in school, you were the shit if you brought these to school.
Oh
now,
yeah,
we'll get to those. Cause I remember these. Cause I wanted them so bad.
Inked, and Lowriders. All the ones I glanced at.
There's some others too. But anyway, so back to Nintendo Power, dude. They used to use live actors for like their snapshots a lot. Like they just used to dress them up and stuff and do like these for their older.
Why they give Link a mullet? He looks like MacGyver.
Yeah. But they did it all the time, even for A Link to the Past. I remember this. I have this cover. I have this Nintendo Power somewhere.
That's cool.
Yeah, they used to do all this all the time. But Nintendo Power covers were so cool.
Yeah,
and they were just like I remember one that had the sword and the owl for what was the game? Link's Awakening.
Link's Awakening.
Yeah, I love that cover too. I have that one. But all these are like just classic, and Nintendo Power really was one of the top ones. This is when Nintendo ruled the world, really, or ruled gaming. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You had eventually you had this, the Sega Genesis and all that stuff, and the Super Nintendo, and that you kind of had that competition. But Nintendo Power really was it. You know what I mean? When it came to, and the NES at the time, it was really it. But I mean, I got like 50 of these damn things somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
Probably not in good condition anymore, but I know I got them.
They probably got like moths and shit all in them.
Yep.
Let's see. Right. What did he say? He said, when I was a kid, those magazines were in the local store called Optimo, and right next to them was Jugs, Blacktail, and Hustler. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Yep. But here's the thing. Crazy thing. In Mississippi, they were strict on having, like, they put the porn in the way back. Like, they didn't let you see nothing.
Oh, yeah. It was hard. Bad. Well, some stores, they put a cover on it, right?
Yeah, they put the cover on it.
I ain't gonna lie.
I ain't gonna lie. Sometimes I was wishing like the cover was out of the way. Was. Yeah, but like sometimes
when you saw that cover. Oh, you knew what it was.
Oh, I know, but it'd be funny because like if I saw the gas station and I saw that the cover wasn't all the way on it, I'd be like trying to break my neck looking around there.
And you couldn't touch that plastic cover, boy.
No, you couldn't.
They had people watching.
Oh yeah.
Kids.
What's crazy?
Like big time.
They had more people watching the porn than they did the alcohol.
Yeah, like employees, they would just shoot your ass out if you were a little kid trying to touch those.
I know, man.
Porn magazines or whatever.
Old Bible Belt. Nowadays,
they can just go to the damn internet.
Oh yeah.
It's like, oh, are you 18?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Ridiculous. All right. Grant, let's talk about this next one. This is one of the best ones. Also, this came out. It's been out for a while. Electronic Gaming Monthly. This was from. They last from late 80s to 2000, around 2009 or 10, something like that. But they were out for a while. And I found this one because I played Soviet Strike on PlayStation. I loved that game. It was actually in one of our, I think, underrated games list or top 10s or something like that. But Electronic Gaming Monthly was a really good game magazine. It was one of the best.
Oh yeah,
during this run, it was really, if not the best, honestly.
Like Electronic Gaming Monthly was like more in depth, like serious, like not
yeah.
Because like Nintendo Power is more kiddie. You know what I mean? With like with all the ads and stuff like that. But Electronic Gaming Monthly was like more like, I don't know really how to explain it.
They mix all games together.
Yeah.
In their stuff, like all consoles on this magazine, and then they added they had strategy guides inside it. They had the journalists. A lot of the journalists had exciting articles, cool articles, what to expect of upcoming games and stuff like that. It was really good in the 90s.
Yeah.
Like really good.
But like you would get the most in-depth information out of EGM.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say. Like it was more cut the BS straight to the point type stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it's one of the top, if not the top magazine back then. Especially in the 90s.
It wasn't my favorite, but it was my second favorite.
Yeah. Okay, Grant. Let's go to the next one. Let's go to
this is my favorite.
Game Pro.
Loved Game Pro, dude. I had a subscription to Game Pro, and this was back. What's crazy is like how much was that say down at the bottom? How much does it cost? $4.99. Can you believe that, man?
Yeah, it's like if they still had magazines,
it'd be like $15. Yeah,
it'd be like a book, buying a hardcover book.
I remember for Christmas, not for Christmas, my birthday, I got a year subscription. To Game Pro, but man, I loved it, man. Man. They always had all the cool stuff. They always did like the funny stuff, like Lane Pro. Remember that? Where they would make fun of games and stuff.
Yeah.
The only bad thing about Game Pro was their reviews were not as good as like they would say like games that were terrible. They would give them good reviews. Like if they were bad, you know what I mean? But overall, man, it was the best. That was my favorite one.
Yeah, Game Pro got a lot of exclusive content too.
Yeah,
like a lot of exclusive content in it. But back to Nintendo Power also. You remember the comics in Nintendo Power, right?
Oh yeah,
like
Captain
Zelda,
N,
Mario, the Captain N ones, but they had separate ones too for just the games that were either about to come out. Because they used to have a Super Metroid one. Like when that game was released, they did a comic with Samus Aran.
Yeah, what I liked about Nintendo Power was they would let you send in questions and stuff. Like you can ask the editor and stuff like that. I like that.
Yep.
I think I sent in a question. I don't think they probably threw it away.
Yeah. But these were like, you didn't have you had the internet in the late 90s, but it wasn't as prominent as now. But these are like you'd have a Game Pro either with your friends or whatever like that, or, at school or something like that. And everyone, it built your own local community of gamers at the time. And everyone would want to talk about like what's inside the magazine, talk about the games and stuff like that. So they really were localized because you had a physical copy in your hand. They were like localized community boards, except in person. And then it eventually, dissipated after a while.
Which is great. I'm glad, dude. I wish this era had this stuff. You know what I mean?
They really, the kids are missing out a lot of stuff.
Exactly. Because here's the thing:
all their shit online.
The truth is, if we would have showed up to this in school, we'd be getting. Well, not you. I'd be getting shoved in lockers. Hey, you want to see my Game Pro?
I didn't play games back then, dude.
I know, but what I'm saying is, it wasn't.
You just get shoved in locker regardless. What are you talking about?
I just come get you.
Yeah, that's right. But anyway, so yeah, Game Pro, one of the best ones. Now let's talk about stuff that, boy, if you had these magazines and you were able to get them, like get your parents to buy them for you, but they're not really paying attention.
Mm-hmm.
These were gold at school. Let me show you why. I know you remember this one. PC Accelerator. Dude, PC Accelerator magazines always had women on the front
Yeah.
covers, like
Oh, yeah.
majority of the time.
Mm-hmm.
And they had scantily clad women sometimes also. This is
Oh, yeah.
the worst one. But they'd always kind of they do the sex sells stuff on their magazine covers a lot. But these are the ones that if you could get and bring them to school, oh, you're the bee's knees. Dude.
Boy, you do. We'd get suspended for this back then, like that.
Oh yeah, you gotta hide it.
But yeah, that one would have like girls like in bikinis posing with like a Packard Bell computer.
There's one that I didn't want to put up on here, but it shows a scantily dressed school teacher advertising a game on the front, and that one was really good. But yeah, man, PC Action, PC Accelerator, pretty much the same thing, but like they always did this. They always went hardcore like this. And this was another one, man. But these only lasted. These were only out for like 2 years.
Yeah.
Like back in our freshman year of high school.
Mm-hmm.
They only lasted 2 years, like freshman to sophomore year of high school.
Yeah. See, back then we were already on to internet porn. I mean, that was already. Yeah. I mean, it would take an hour to download a picture, but
yeah. But
after you got on the internet,
that time were still popular.
Yeah.
Game magazines like early 2000s, late 90s were really popular.
I mean, it took 45 minutes just to look at one naked woman on the internet back then.
Yeah. All right. So let's keep going. All right. Next gen. I know you remember these.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Next gen. These ran again in late 90s up until early 2000. But they have a lot of Halo covers during this period.
What was really cool?
Like it was the thing at that time.
What was really cool about, I mean, I know this one's more other, but the cool thing about the PC ones and where they seem to separate themselves is a lot of times they would come in with game demos. And that's where you
that too.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Not
even just the PC ones.
Yeah, but remember, I mean, but
old PlayStation magazine.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They would come out with game demos inside the magazine.
Yep.
And boy, those were really popular. Those would fly off the shelves.
Yeah. I forgot
because the way they marketed it is like that's the only way you could get the demo.
Yeah.
This was before major downloads, right? You could download games to your console. They would put these demos in these magazines, and many did them. But PlayStation, the beginning, when PlayStation, I think it's the official PlayStation magazine did it, they're the ones that really went hardcore with it, with demos. And then the other magazines kind of caught on during the early 2000s, late 90s. All right, let's keep going. All right, Grant. Game Fan. You remember Game Fan? Mm-hmm. Game Fan was popular because I love their covers, dude. I love their artwork they did with the covers. Game Fan, like they mixed up, a ton of characters into one front page cover. And this is just one example. And this was Final Fantasy IX's time when this issue came out. But yeah, so Game Fan was really good, and they didn't really last that long either. They were only from 92 to 2000.
I remember UFC on Dreamcast. That game was so awesome.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people didn't like it, but like I would create a guy and make him super. Like you can create a guy, and like I made his power all the way up, so he was slow as shit. But if he hit you, your face would be would be busted open. I used to love that game.
This brings back a lot of memories. Dreamcast, Final Fantasy IX, Square's finest hour. I mean, that was a fantastic game. But it's just funny going back to a lot of these magazines and seeing like what we talk about now for all these classics about how popular they were back then too.
I like how that guy left his name, address, and everything on there for the internet to see.
All right, next one, Sega Saturn. All right, this is another one that was very short-lived because it was basically just for the Sega Saturn. It went for 5 years.
Yeah.
And this one was like Saturn wasn't really that good, or at least wasn't that popular of a console. It wasn't like going from Genesis to Saturn was like.
The problem with the Sega Saturn is the Sega Saturn could have been really good. The fact that, but the thing is it felt rushed, and I know why. Is because they were trying to. I mean, you have to think about what happened with Sega Saturn. They had the 32X and all that stuff within like a 6-month period time. The 32X came out. I mean, the Sega Saturn came out 6 months after the 32X, so it just showed that they didn't have much going on. But the thing about it is they rushed this shit out just so they can compete with PlayStation because they were going to get left behind.
So PlayStation, in response to Nintendo, came out with their PlayStation magazine.
Yep.
And this is, I mean, they had a lot of good covers too. This is Tomb
So
Raider 2 one.
let me tell you something. This magazine right here, it's crazy that you pulled this one up. Is we would go, me and my brother-in-law, we stayed up like for one summer, like we would play games like till like 4 a.m.
Yeah.
And one of them was Tomb Raider 2. And I remember us having to go to Kroger to look through this magazine to figure out what to do next. Like you couldn't just get on the internet. That's the thing. That's how you had to do it. We didn't buy the magazine. We weren't going to buy it. We weren't going to pay $6.99 for it. We just wanted to look through it, get the answers, and then drive back home and do what we had to do.
Yeah.
But that's crazy that you pulled this one up because this is the magazine that we went through.
Oh, dude, these were great magazines.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if this one is the one that started with the demos for PlayStation or if it was the official one. But anyway, these were awesome. This had like a 10-year run from like 97 to 2007.
Game Girls lid stickers free inside. Oh, they would have an uproar about that today. Oh, God, that's sex. That's misogynist.
You couldn't even do this picture on a game cover or a magazine cover nowadays. What are you talking about?
Like, what's wrong with this Lara Croft?
Lara Croft never doesn't even look like that anymore.
Exactly.
She's now very manly.
Jeez.
At least per the Netflix show. All right. Grant. Next. I don't know if you remember these. Computer and video games.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember these games?
I do.
All right, so these
I never bought it, but I remember seeing them.
So these started in 1981 or something like that, before we were born.
Yeah.
But they lasted for like a little over 20 years. Computer and video games.
Yeah.
And it was really one of the first, I guess, traditional game magazines that we had. I mean, this is talking about Doom, old Doom, the original Doom.
Yeah.
But these were pretty good. It's kind of funny looking through a lot of these when I tried to find a picture. Like all their covers are very old schooly, like this.
Yeah.
Like they look like they're hand drawn.
Yeah. Like this would be considered like you could put this in like a Marvel comic back in the day.
Yeah. All right, Grant. The next one is Game Now. They only had a 3-year span.
Yeah.
But they were decent. They're okay. I mean, they couldn't compete with Game Pro and all your major contenders like Nintendo Power and Electronic Gaming Weekly and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But they're all right. You see these a lot in the stores also. All right. Next
2002. Wow.
Yeah. Next one I liked because I liked their Pacific covers. Like, not many game magazines had a Xenosaga.
You can't say specific, can you?
No, I can't.
You keep saying Pacific.
Specific, right?
It's specific.
Specific.
You keep saying, well, they have a Pacific cover. Pacific
like
is an ocean.
Right? Like
yeah.
ocean. No. That's what I mean, right?
Specific.
Anyway, GMR, they always had good covers. Like, because they always had a game that wasn't like super popular. Xenosaga was okay. Like those games are okay RPGs. At the time they had what 1, 2, 3 of them, I think, Xenosagas. But they were really not your first, but one of your first mainline anime looking RPGs that were kind of released in the West also. And but yeah, this one GMR was only about a 2-year. Yeah, they were only about 2 years, like very early 2000s. They only had a 2-year span. Let's go to the next one. All right, next one, Grant. All right, let's talk about these. Mean Machines. All right, so Mean Machines, these actually were like in the early 90s, very early 90s. These were, first they were Nintendo and Sega kind of like put together, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you had the NES, Super NES, Sega Genesis, and stuff like that. They were put together, but then they split into Mean Machines Sega and just Mean Machines. And it was like a mix of, one had Nintendo and one just had Sega.
I wonder why they did that.
I don't know, but I mean, they didn't last that long. They only had like a 2-year span. But
How much was I say? It's only $1.95.
Yeah,
That's incredible.
yeah. But these split and didn't last. I think it was like 92. They quit publishing them. You remember Toe Jam and Earl?
Oh yeah. Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
those were classics. All right, last one, Grant. Xbox.
Yep.
Xbox Magazine. They actually lasted 19 years. But that's because they came out in 2001 and lasted and then stopped doing them in around 2020.
And then they gave it to PlayStation.
And, and they gave it to PlayStation. You're absolutely correct. But yeah, Xbox Magazine, they had a good long run, but now the entire console is coming to an end.
It seems like it. God.
Unless they got some big surprise coming up. But
you missed one. Remember Tips and Tricks?
Tips and Tricks, yeah.
Yeah. Crazy thing is that magazine was owned by Larry Flint, the guy who owned Hustler, the porn magazine. His publishing company got into the gaming world and made Tips and Tricks. Tips and Tricks was cool because it was straight to the point. You know what I mean? Like it was just strictly tips and tricks.
Yeah. But anyway, again, digital era came through and magazines just dissipated. We always kind of come back from nostalgia, talk about the demos that were released on there. Back when it was like they sold those demos or had those demos in those magazines and they were like good demos, but you couldn't get them anywhere else. You couldn't download them off the internet.
Right.
You had to buy the magazine just to play the demo.
Yep. Unless you wanted to be a scumbag and they got smart because at first they used to put them in the back of like the magazine and the plastic cover. You can just rip open the plastic cover and take the demo if you wanted to. But then they got smart and put it actually in the magazine.
Yeah, and then YouTube came to rise, and all the YouTubers that you had good, excellent game players that would do strategy guides on YouTube.
Yeah,
they would better than most of the magazines had.
Game Facts came out. Game Facts is where you can basically type up a walkthrough and then upload it. They created a database of walkthroughs and stuff like that and secrets and all that stuff. So, I mean.
Yeah, so YouTube, many others, just the time for magazines to end. Even though we can reflect back, it was really, really cool time period because, you didn't have the onslaught of information.
I liked it because it's the nostalgic factor because every time that a magazine would come in the mail or you'd get it at the store or whatever, that's how you learned about the new games, and it was the excitement.
That's the only way. Early 90s, that's the only way.
I'll never forget that. And I would read this thing over and over and over. It was the Game Pro magazine that talked about Breath of Fire 2. And I read that thing all the time. Because I wanted that game so bad.
Yeah.
And that's all I did was read that magazine until I got that game. And dude, I loved it.
There's a Game Pro.
That's right. There was a Dreamcast magazine. There sure was.
Yep, there sure was. Yep, Famitsu. Yep, there was. But Game Pro, it was either Game Pro or another one that had the Final Fantasy VII cover.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That looked hand-drawn. But it was a Final Fantasy VII cover before the game came out. And it was like, that's not my first introduction to it, but that's one of the introductions to Final Fantasy VII. I used to just read about it. I looked up so much stuff about it that was the reason why I had to have a PlayStation.
You know what's crazy is back then they never said like this game's coming out on January 3rd. It was always like winter of 2000 or winter of 1998 or spring of 97. You know what I mean? So they never really gave dates. And I think they did that to give themselves leeway for bugs and stuff like that. But
yeah,
because I remember I didn't know Final Fantasy VII came out until I saw it in Blockbuster.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean? Like I didn't know it came out because it always said spring.
The other source
summer.
of information was either your mom and pop video store or these Blockbusters, but you had someone working there that was a nerd.
Yeah.
And, you check a game out and he'd talk about it and talk about all these other stuff he might have read or stuff like that. And that was another source of information when you were a kid.
Yeah, yeah. Word of mouth.
Nerd just telling you, hey, you need to check this out. This releases on this day and stuff like that. That was another source of information. That's how we got our game releases.
But you also had two types of nerds. You had the ones that was informative, and then you had the ones that put you down. Wow, God, you couldn't beat that game, guy.
Yeah.
You know.
All right. Grant, that is the rise and fall of gaming magazines. That was our main subject, but we're going to keep moving. All right, Grant. You ready for our Disgruntled Gamer Rant?
Let's do it.
All right. So, everyone, we do a segment every podcast called the Disgruntled Gamer Rant. Basically, we pick a either game accessory, console accessory that was just pure garbage.
Trash.
And we talk about it. So this week, without introduction, I'm going to play you something, Grant.
All right.
All right. Let me know when you see this.
Sega Activator, the ultimate full-body game controller. Feel free to consider yourself a pioneer on the interactive frontier.
Okay, I will. Gotta go.
Now, take a look at your fingers. Identify the ones we like to call thumbs.
This is
Pat
such
them
a
on the
90s
back if you
commercial.
find their backs and thank them. Up until now, they've been doing all the work, but that's about to change. Remember, the Activator is for indoor use only. Any room with a standard ceiling height will do. Just be sure to give yourself enough space to move around. You don't want to be crowded when you use the Activator. Avoid setting up directly beneath light sources. Also, avoid metallic or mirrored overhead surfaces. There are 7 standard panels and 1 master panel. Lay them out on the floor in an octagonal shape. Feel them easily snap into place. Make sure the master panel is facing the TV set. Place the optional stickers on each of the panels. These stickers correspond with game actions and controls and will help you coordinate.
Pause it. You see this shit? Like, imagine trying to explain this to somebody. Like,
Dude, you needed a degree of quantum mechanics to get this to align
oh
properly.
my god.
But we'll get into that.
Yeah.
Let's finish this real quick.
Yeah, go
We're
ahead.
not going to play the whole
your
trailer,
moves.
but
Remember to
just a
maintain
nice little
this numerical
introduction.
configuration for future setups.
Who the hell's gonna do that?
The Activator plugs directly into your Genesis. Just plug in the AC adapter, turn on the master panel power switch, and put in a game card. The next step is the most important thing you have to do. It's called calibration. The Activator beams must adjust themselves for optimum
all
performance
these
to the
rules,
specific
man.
gameplay area. Stand away from the panels, at least 3 feet, and turn on your Genesis. Wait for about 20 seconds, or until the game title appears on the screen. The Activator will not work properly without this procedure. Remember, you'll need to recalibrate every time you turn on the Genesis, or when
What?
you put in a different.
You have to
Dude,
recalibrate it
listen.
every time?
Yeah, it had so many ifs and buts to this thing just to get it to work. But the worst part about it was just aligning the damn thing.
Well, the
To
worst
get
part
it
about it is
back.
it didn't fucking work. It didn't work at all. It was this big octagon that you stood into it.
That's
Yep.
all you have to do. It seems simple, because it is.
No, it's not.
The Activator is an actual game controller. Panel 2 is the B button. Panel 8 is the C button.
All right.
How the fuck are you supposed to do that? So let me ask you a question. What? Okay, and I'm not trying to make fun of anybody. What happens if you're in a wheelchair and you want to you want to use this thing? Then what?
This episode's Disgruntled Gamer Rant is the Sega Activator for the Sega Genesis.
The Shattivator.
Yeah. This was marketed as a full body gaming experience, you know, to immerse players like never before into a game.
Yeah, and then you first of all you had to have a big area because you couldn't do this. You couldn't do this in a small room because you're supposed to stand in the middle of this thing, and then this is what they thought of. So let me just simplify this for what they thought was supposed to happen. They wanted you to stand in the middle of this thing and basically be like Street Fighter, and then punch and kick, and it's supposed to mimic everything that's doing in the game. But let me ask you a question: how would you do the Hadouken with this thing? How would you do the special moves with this thing?
You would have to do it 100 times for it to work.
This
You
is
know that, right? You literally had to do it so many times for this damn thing to work. And like the responsiveness of this thing was it was non-existent.
this is
Like
Power Glove bad.
This is Power Glove bad.
Yeah, but here's the thing: is this wasn't as famous. This wasn't as famous as the Power Glove. The Power Glove is bad because this was in a movie. The Power Glove was in a movie. It was like, oh my god, this looked like garbage from the beginning. The idea, I get it. The idea from in the '90s, early '90s,
It was ahead of his time.
it was a good idea. I mean, it would probably work today. It would work today. Maybe. Maybe. I honestly think somebody came back from time in the year 3000 and was like, I got an idea. How about you play video games with not your hands?
Well, this thing costs about the equivalent of $160.
Yeah.
Today.
And it was plastic, and you had to calibrate it every time you turned it on. You had to calibrate it like 3 times.
Yeah.
And you had to wait 30 seconds. And by the time, listen to me, by the time you got it calibrated, you didn't even want to play the damn game no more because it took so long.
That, and when you did play the game, you can see
it didn't work. It didn't work.
Your neighbors are watching you through the window.
Yeah, and you look like an idiot,
like trying to do one move 100 times.
You look like an idiot.
It's ridiculous. But yeah, this thing was just another just garbage accessory piled on other garbage accessories. And it's funny how
you turn on Double Dragon, you're probably gonna like turn around and walk backwards toward the other screen, just moving, came in, punch and kick.
And, when it comes to major accessories, the NES had the gun and everything like that. But then when they had the Power Glove, which was complete garbage, Sega decided up it a little bit with coming out with this activator.
They said, hold on. This is what they said. They said, you know what? Yeah, they said, you see that shitty glove? We're about to make something even shittier. And that's what we did. That's what they did. So I mean, can you imagine standing there trying to do the Ken uppercut? Like you have to like well, you actually like jump in the air and it's supposed to do it?
No, you literally can do the Hadouken. You can try to do it, but it would never work. And you'd have to do it like 100 times before it finally registers.
The game's over. You're already beat.
By that time, you're already knocked out.
Yeah.
KO'd.
You would literally have to play the second player with nobody playing the second player controller.
Yeah. Now, whoever's watching this video later, once I make the segment of it,
we'll get on TikTok.
Has anyone actually tried this back in the day? Does anyone remember one? If you have one or use it and what your personal experience are, please comment on video.
Yes, let us know.
We want to know. All right. Very
of course, we'll put this on TikTok and they'll be like, oh, this was great. This was a great contraption. Yeah. No, it wasn't. It was awful. It was terrible.
Someone on TikTok think it was his best.
Oh yeah, no, it was terrible. This was garbage.
Yeah, this was horrible, pure garbage. All right, great.
Like look at the distance between B and C.
Oh, it's ridiculous. You just saw the commercial. How to calibrate the damn thing.
Yeah, maybe I have to watch it again. Watch it again to figure it out.
4 minutes long.
No, I'm gonna have to
we only watched half of it.
I feel like I need a scientific calculator and an abacus to figure it out.
They wanted to make sure people knew, all the details before buying it.
This is one of the things you have to
be really difficult to put together.
Like you would have to pay somebody to come do it for you, like Geek Squad.
Yeah, but anyway, at the end of the day, only a handful of games were actually made to be compatible with this. Street Fighter 2 being one of them.
Mainly your fighting games. It's mainly like your fight,
not many at all. So it's
what was it? Final Fight, Streets of Rage.
Spend $160 or back in the day $80, right? But it's still a lot of money back then. You can spend that money on either this or just buy a couple more games.
You could have bought another TV back then.
It was just like, and plus being that it only worked on a few games is just a worthless accessory.
Imagine
one of the most worthless accessories in history.
Imagine the horror of knowing that you spent, let's just say you mowed lawns all summer and you bought this. Imagine the horror of doing all that hard work and then finally getting this thing and it's trash. And you can't take it back. You lost your receipt.
So this is to wrap this up. This is a cautionary tale of ambitiousness that Sega the gaming world was just not ready for. Technology at the time was just not ready for.
I think when they took this to the CEO, I think the CEO didn't even understand it. He's probably looking at all
Nintendo
the calculations.
Couldn't even do it with the Wii U or the Wii. They couldn't even do it then. And the Kinect came out. That was just didn't register well. All that technology years later. So maybe eventually we'll get to the point of something legit coming out.
Maybe we'll get to like Ready Player One status one day.
Yeah, the Kinect was just another we might do gamer rant on the Kinect maybe sometime in the future. Who
Oh
knows?
boy.
Yep. Okay, Grant. Guys, ladies and gentlemen, that was the Disgruntled Gamer Rant of the week or of this episode. Please, if you got any comments, if you have experience with this thing, please let us know in the comments.
This octagon, the UFC octagon.
Yeah. All right. Grant, you ready for that top 10 list, buddy?
Let's do it.
Let me close this. All right, everyone. Our top 10 list for today. All right, before we start our top 10 list, if anyone has a top 10 list, worst, best, whatever subject you want to talk about to a degree, please just comment on any of our videos that you see on our YouTube channel or on X, on Twitter. Comment, give us a top 10 list to do. If we don't get a top 10 list, then we usually just make up one our own. But we've done a lot of people that have a lot of our top 10 lists have been recommended, and we've done it. Like we did the top 10 boobs in video game. We did the top 10 butts in video game because we had people recommend it. We'll do it as long as it's not too far out there. And yes, those videos are on YouTube. The top 10 boobs. But we'll do them. We just need people to give us top 10 lists. Again, just comment to our videos and all that. All right, Grant. This week's top 10 list is the top 10 worst RPG characters of all time.
All right.
Okay. You want me to get it started or you want to get it
Go
started?
ahead. No, go ahead. Start it off.
All right, Grant. You know, I got one game. There's a reason why one of my games in this top 10 is one of the worst of the genre. And I'll get to that. All right, Grant. My number 10. Let me just pull up the picture. Grant. All right. Here we go. My number 10 is 𝐾𝐮𝐬𝐽 from Final Fantasy VII.
That one's on mine.
This might be a hot topic.
Could be.
People are like, oh my God, I love 𝐾𝐮𝐬𝐽.
Yeah, no.
All right, 𝐾𝐮𝐬𝐽 was one of the most worthless RPG characters of all time. It was worthless in the original, still worthless in all the remakes. Just a worthless character. And for some reason, this character is a spy. Like that's in the story of this character. It was a spy or something like that.
It's a puppet or whatever, like a robotic. It's not even human. It's somebody's controlling it.
It's just a bizarre backstory of this character. I never played with 𝐾𝐮𝐬𝐽. It was not. I just didn't like any of the attacks the character did. I didn't really like it in the story. It was just, for a story with kind of a serious type tone, I would say, this character is just way out of there. I'm curious who actually designed this character to be in this game. Like, what person came up with the idea of 𝐾𝐮𝐬𝐽? But to me, 𝐾𝐮𝐬𝐽 definitely one of the top 10 worst characters of all time. RPG characters. All right, Grant, you're number 10.
Preston Garvey, Fallout 4.
Easy. I couldn't stand that thing.
Man.
Didn't make it to my top 10, but I could not stand it.
All the time, every time you're doing something, all you hear is another settlement needs your help. Like, I know that. Isn't that the point of the game?
Yep.
And all his missions, they felt repetitive and grind heavy. It was just,
worthless character.
Yeah.
Good one. All right, Grant. This is actually a character from the game that I consider one of the best RPGs of all time. Let me pull him up. You remember Rico from Xenogears?
Mm-hmm. I was talking like Blanca.
Yeah, he looked like Blanca, but he was a cool-looking character. But he had no personality, had not really anything to do with the story.
Yeah.
He was not as strong as all the other characters. His mech wasn't even as strong as all the characters, or his Xenogear, I guess you could say. But he was just kind of there. Like, he had no real backstory, or he had a little bit of backstory, but he was just not interesting. Cool looking, but just not a good RPG character. And honestly, I didn't like him in the game, besides the way he looked. That's about it. All right, Grant, you're number 9.
My number 9 is from Final Fantasy IV. And no.
Can I take a guess?
Nope. It's not that. It's not who you think it is.
Who
It's
is
not
it?
that one's way further up.
Oh, it's way further up. Okay.
A lot of people thought this character was cool. I think he's kind of worthless.
Yeah?
Edge.
Edge?
I thought Edge was kind of worthless
Why do you say that?
because I thought he was he was the prince, the ninja prince or whatever.
Mhm.
He just came off. I don't know, man. He just came off whiny, and he wasn't even like you didn't get him enough in time to where he make him like a really strong character. He wasn't
Yeah.
really one of your stronger characters. Now he wasn't because everybody's like, oh, he's a ninja, he's cool. He wasn't like Shadow. You know what I mean? Like Shadow was cool. Edge was not. He was not cool. I didn't like him. If I never used him, I never put him in my party unless I had to.
I didn't think it was that bad.
It was kind of bad. If
Maybe
you go
for
back,
your-
if you sit down and really play, I know you have. I'm just saying, like, if you play it again, like, look how bad he is compared to like all your other, like 𝐾𝐻 and all your other ones.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't put him on. I wouldn't put him on my party. You know what I mean, to fight. But I mean, he wasn't, to me as a overall character. He wasn't that bad. But I can see where you're coming though.
He just whine. Like for a ninja, you're like, my family died. Like, okay, well, don't ninjas like fucking like go out there and stay silent and go whoop some ass? You're over there crying.
Yeah. All right, Grant. My number 8 is 𝐬𝐮𝐬𝐫𝐿𝐿 from Mass Effect. As soon as I had the choice of picking this guy to die, I chose it. And I saved Ashley instead, who is an okay character also. But between the two, Ashley was way better. This guy just had bland personality, like had no life to the character. Probably one of the worst he is the worst character in Mass Effect, like mainline characters. But 𝐬𝐮 is just a stupid character. So as soon as I could, I made sure he died. And that's my number 8.
All right.
Grant, go ahead.
My number 8, Rufus Shinra.
Oh, you didn't like Rufus, dude?
Didn't like Rufus. Let me tell you why. Because they tried to make him this badass. They tried to.
He came across
they immediately made him weak. You know what I mean? Now, I will say this. He was better. I'm going off the original Rufus. He was a little bit better in the remake.
Yeah.
But the original Rufus, like the coolest thing he did was get in the helicopter and try to kill you. But after that, he was like, oh, yeah, you know what I'm saying?
They gave him more life in Advent Children in that movie. They gave him a little bit better, kind of like, when he revealed who he was. And then in remake,
he failed. He tried to be intimidating, but he failed, to be that way.
Yeah.
And his arc felt very undeveloped, but also they had him going against Sephiroth as of like who was badass more. You know what I mean? So they kind of did it to themselves.
Yeah. So you say the original Final Fantasy VII Rufus?
Yeah, the original one. I liked him. I liked him a little bit. He was actually pretty cool.
Yeah, they gave him more personality.
Yeah, he was smooth. I ain't gonna lie. He was smooth when he got out that helicopter. He was smooth with it when he got out. Yeah.
I remember in Advent Children, the movie, and when he revealed himself and he dropped down from that tower holding Jenova, the container, and he shot that shotgun up at Sephiroth, to blow up the container. That was pimp.
Yep.
But they really brought the Turks and him kind of to life more.
Since exactly. Because the Turks, they were just in the original one. They were just kind of, God, I got to fight them. God,
Yeah, they did give him a lot more personality than new. So hats off to them for that. Okay, that's your number 8, right?
Yep.
All right. My number 7 is Carth Onasi from Star Wars: The Old Republic, Knights of the Old Republic. This guy, whiny. Can't trust him with anything, but always whiny. And his dialogue is just bleh. That's all I got to say. But he's always whiny, and you can't trust him for anything. Just a stupid character. Like, I couldn't stand any scene this guy was in playing this game, which was a fantastic game. Fantastic game. But yeah, this guy's pure garbage.
Yeah.
I don't know who developed this guy, but I'd like to wring his neck. Just straight up garbage. All right, great. Go ahead.
My number 7 is Tatsu from Xenoblade Chronicles
Oh
X.
my god.
Dude was not. Dude,
Oh my god. The
he tried. Okay,
the pom-pom?
he tried to be funny. He wasn't funny. Like all his scenes made you want to either throw this console out the window or yourself. His contribution to the combat was terrible. His narratives were awful. Like just his overall narrative to the plot. So he was basically just a mascot character.
That's what
I
he
hated
was.
him. Exactly, I hated him.
And he tried to be funny the entire story.
And it was terrible.
It was never funny.
It was terrible.
Never. Just annoying. But I forget what they're called. Yeah, Nippons. Like they have him in all his Xenoblades.
Yeah.
He was especially the worst one in the Chronicles X. I wonder if the remaster version of it, the remake, is going to just get rid of him or make.
God, I hope so. Just like,
yeah. But yeah, Tatsu, dude, I'm gonna go ahead and leave it here too for my number 6.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna just leave this guy here. That's my number. I'll say that's my number 6.
I got you.
Yeah, I can't stand this guy.
Yeah, it's terrible.
All right, Grant.
All right.
Number 6.
This one might be a little controversial. My number 6 is from Final Fantasy X, and it's the main protagonist. It's Tidus.
Oh, I agree.
I think Tidus is terrible because
Tidus is one of the worst protagonists, main characters ever in a Final Fantasy.
They made him, his personality is garbage because they try to make him arrogant, but then they also made him whiny. Like he was very whiny.
I thought his design was bad too.
Yeah, do you remember that famous the famous ha 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 laugh scene?
Yeah.
That's so stupid.
And what did he wear? Like overalls or something?
Yeah, it was so stupid.
It was a stupid character.
Like he never you never felt when you were playing with him, you never felt like he was a leader character. Like when you like Cloud,
never.
Like with Cloud, you felt like, all right, this is the man. Like he's going to be in my party no matter what. You know what I mean? Unless I couldn't put him in there. But
my favorite character was, I thought Auron was
cool. He was cool. Yeah, he was cool.
Lulu,
man.
I like Lulu too.
Yeah,
I just like their personalities.
Yeah,
I wish Auron was the main character.
Yeah,
that would have been so much more interesting.
Lulu has some other assets that were good too.
That's right. Lulu was. All right, Grant, my number 6. We're about to get into the nitty gritty. Oh, people gonna be mad on this one. 𝐬𝐿𝐫𝐿𝐫𝐷s or Villiers, whatever, from Final Fantasy 13. I'm about to go on a run on these characters. So let me pull up Snow real quick. Oh, buddy. This dude, he was like, okay, he got the bandana on. He kind of, trying to make him look cool and stuff. But he was like the overconfident hero dude with the personality and just super obnoxious throughout the entire game.
They all those from Final Fantasy X to like, I don't know, it could have been, they probably stopped at like 13. They always had like the guy who was like the ladies. He tried to be like the ladies' man. Like, he tried to he was like the smooth talker.
He didn't fit in the story.
It's kind of like Waka from Final Fantasy X. I hated him too, but he didn't make my list.
Final Fantasy 13 was kind of, not, I'd say dark, but is kind of emotional depth to it, and he was just out of place.
Yeah.
Plus, he just wasn't a good character. I didn't like him. But yeah, number 6.
All right, number 5 is 𝐾𝐻.
𝐾𝐻.
Yeah,
there we go.
It was I mean, you only play with 𝐾𝐻 in the Golden Saucer. That whole scenario, whatever. Soon now, I liked the quote unquote story part. I like the story of it. Like I will say this, I did like the story of it, and you kind of felt bad after it died. Then it came back because they built another one. You thought, they put you know what I mean. You remember how like it died, and then they built another one. It's 𝐾𝐻 number 2 or whatever.
I didn't feel sorry for him.
Well,
I wish it died again.
But I never played with it because I hated its stupid megaphone attack. I thought that was just dumb.
Yeah.
But no,
it's just out of box character.
Yeah, it was out of box character. It was. I didn't mind the story arc as much, but I hated the character playing the character. Like I just didn't like the character.
I mean, I like Yuffie more than this character.
Oof,
that's saying something.
Yeah. Oh, don't say that. Oh my God, she's the greatest.
Yeah, you don't want to say that.
Yeah.
All right, Grant. Continue my roll. What is this? Number 5. All right. Hope Estheim from from Final Fantasy 13.
Another 13. Another
Another
overly
13.
whiny, immature character.
All right, so this character immediately starts over a whiny child.
Yeah.
Like that's all the personality of this character is.
Yep.
And another, I guess you can say, repetitive character, but he just had a whiny backstory.
And he didn't grow.
He eventually kind of got more mature towards the end, but like he's just an annoying character, dude. Like I was debating put this guy way up higher than I did, but just I couldn't stand this character playing it in Final Fantasy 13. Which honestly, Final Fantasy 13 is to me one of the worst ones in all the Final Fantasies. All right,
number 4, Karth Onasi. Always acting, this character is always acting paranoid, and distrust the player character, whiny, everything about it, man. It's just you couldn't connect with this character emotionally. Terrible.
Like I said before, I hated this character, dude.
Terrible.
Like the worst part of this game. Yeah. Fantastic game. This character really
awful.
Just garbage. All right, Grant, I got another main protagonist that you play in the game that I think is quite possibly one of the worst ones.
Okay.
Probably worse than Titus, honestly.
Ooh, okay.
Worse than Titus. All right, let me show you who I'm talking about. You're going to recognize this guy. Edge Maverick from Star Ocean of the Last Hope. Playing the entire story, this dude has the worst decisions out of any protagonist I've ever played in any video game. The worst decisions he comes up with. And just a bland personality, dude. Like, this wasn't even a good Star Ocean.
No, it was
because
awful.
Their main character just sucked.
Yeah.
I don't know how, when they made this, Square Enix, let's make a bland, whiny protagonist that has bad decisions throughout the entire game, and let's hope for the success. I don't know what they were thinking on this, but Edge Maverick, dude, one of the worst ever. Probably, I would say one of, if not the worst protagonist, one of the worst. All right, Grant, go ahead.
Number 3, Navi.
Oh God.
From Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. I hated that fairy. I hated
sound.
Listen. I hated that. Every time you couldn't even do nothing. Every time you move around, like I get it was supposed to guide you.
Every button you press.
Yeah, but shut the fuck up and let me play the game. Like, let me play the game. Like, I don't need you giving me advice on how to throw the bombs. I know how to throw the bombs.
Correct. My number 2.
You're on number 3. Number 3. You're on number 3.
Number 3?
Wait. No. I'm sorry. I forgot. I went first. I thought I went first. Sorry, go ahead.
We're on number 2.
All right, go ahead.
Another Final Fantasy 13 character. I have 3 of them in my top 10. This is why this game is one of the worst Final Fantasies ever made.
Ooh, they're going to hate you for that.
You can say a hot take.
What? I agree.
It is one of the worst.
It's the worst. That and 15 are the worst.
Every single Final Fantasy. Yeah. Every single one of them.
This and 15 are the worst. These are the worst ones.
All right. Like Final Fantasy 13 and 10, I put in the kind of the same, except 10 has some good characters like Lulu and Auron, you know what I mean? But like this one is the worst. All right, Vanille. All right, so she's another one that just didn't make sense in the story. No. Like how this, like I would say how the kind of like grim story is in this. But she was like, very childlike.
High-pitched voice was overly high-pitched and terrible.
Was annoying. And then she'd cry all the time.
Yeah.
Like everything they did was like every other scene she's crying, tearing up or something like that. But just a horrible character. But not as horrible as my first one, my number 1. But go ahead. You're number 2.
My number 2 is 𝐾𝐻𝐿𝐿, Mass Effect.
I hate that guy.
And anytime that I can sacrifice him,
I could see it being a number 2.
Yeah. Anytime that I could sacrifice him during the Virmire mission, I did. because that was terrible. Yes.
If
yes.
anyone's played Mass Effect or
Like his face and his
everyone knows
haircut.
what we're talking about.
Like everything about him makes you hate his face and his haircut after, like as much. I sacrificed him every time.
if they remaster, like come out with like a remake of these games, the original trilogy, they need to just make sure he is non-existent.
Yeah.
Or replace him with someone totally different. But yeah, this is a horrible character. All right. Grant. My number one, Grant,
Mm-hmm.
that we've talked about quite a bit on this podcast. Let me go ahead and pull that image up. Let me know when you see that. Do you see that?
I see that.
You see
I
that?
knew that was going to be your number one.
The worst RPG character. Yes, it's worse than your number one, Grant.
Okay. We'll
It
see.
No, it is.
Yeah, you're probably right. You're probably right.
Cringiest, out of place, new age Western woke crap ever put in a video game, an RPG. Worst dialogue, childlike. She's supposed to be a dragon hunter, and she talks like a little kid, and it's just way out of whack in the game Dragon Age. The Velga.
You don't have to play with her though. You don't have to do her quest.
Worst RPG character of all time, Grant. Worst. It is.
Yeah, I probably can agree with that.
No one can tell me different. Give me a character in any game. You know what? I'm going to say she's the worst game character of all time. Give me a character, and I guarantee you I can debate that she's worse. Not because she's trans. Not because of what they made her. It was just the dialogue, her backstory. It did not fit in the story of the game. Yeah. And her character was just so cringy.
Yeah.
Everyone would agree with me. No. You cannot disagree in saying this was a good character. Horrible character.
Yeah, I agree. My number one is different. My number one is from being just the most worthless character. It's not cringy. It's just worthless. Like if you had this person on your team, you know who it is. We've already discussed it. If you had this person on your team, if you had to take this character into battle with you, you're going to die. If you need this character to help you live, you're not going to.
Yeah.
My number one from Final Fantasy IV, Edward Chris Von Muir.
Von Muir
is the worst fucking RPG character to me. Not the worst overall character. The most worthless. That's why I think he's the worst. Worthless character. Okay, let's talk about it.
You didn't like Edward the Bard?
Let me tell you why. First of all, he one of his abilities is to hide because he's such a pussy.
Yeah,
like you can actually hide because he's so fucking weak. He's weak and terrible. Now I get it. You don't keep him long enough in the game to power him up. His singing abilities fucking suck. His harp's awful. Do no damage. Even if you have him, at full life, does nothing. He cries in the game. Not only is he whiny, he cries in the game where Tella has to slap him and tell him to stop crying, stop fucking crying. like when does that happen? No, just worthless.
Edward the Bard from Final Fantasy IV.
Yes. And I get it. He wanted to save his his fiance died and all this other stuff, but he was this terrible character. Like he shouldn't even been in your party. Never. Yeah. At no point in this game should he ever been in your party. If they would have made him just like not be in your party, then they would have been fine. Terrible character.
Harp attacks. They do.
It's fucking did like 3 hit points, like 30
hit points. That's it. It's just a worthless character.
God, it was terrible.
Worthless. All right, guys. That was our top 10.
Yep.
All right. Top 10 worst RPG characters of all time. Yep. If you guys have a top 10 list, comment to any one of our videos and we'll do the top 10. It can be worst, best, whatever you want. As long as it's within reason, we will do it.
As long as we can't get banned for it.
Yeah. All right, Grant. Our final segment.
You got to load it up.
This episode's Game Gambit.
All right.
If anyone's watching this for the first time, or the video that I'm gonna make of it afterwards.
Hold on, you're so excited. You sound like you're out of breath. You're like you're you're
I love
excited.
game. I love
I know,
Game
I know,
Gambit.
I know, but I can tell
we
you.
don't know anything about what's going to be chosen.
I know,
Well,
but
I mean, we could, but
I know, but you're so fucking excited. You're out of breath and shit. You're like, I can hear it. Like I'm about to edit that shit out.
I hope we get a game we don't know nothing about.
I know, that'd be cool.
Like something we don't know anything about. But what we do for Game Gambit is we ask AI to give us a randomly generated game or whatever from any era, and it just gives us a random game.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Last week was Space Invaders. All right, we were able to talk about that because we knew quite a bit about it because we played in arcades and everything like that.
They gave us they gave us a softball one. They gave us an easy. They gave us an underhand toss pitch.
Yeah. So let me go ahead and ask Grok or whatever AI, give me a random game from any era to talk about. All right.
Don't say any era. Say any console.
Any console.
Yeah.
To talk about. Well, my bad, Grant.
Yeah. I got to teach you how to do prompt engineering.
All right. Let's see what it gives us.
Spit it out.
Grant. I got it. I'm just gonna pull a picture of this.
Oh god, so it's something we do know. That's good.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull a picture of it. You should have played this maybe back in the day.
We'll see.
Let's see. That is the okay. Yeah, let me do that.
Let's see. Drum roll, please.
All right, Grant. About to share it now.
All right.
I got the picture.
All right.
I got the picture, Grant. Share now.
Shadows of Colossus.
You remember this?
I do remember this
2002,
game.
I think.
Yep.
Early 2000,
yep.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Came out on PS2. Yeah, yep. PlayStation 2, right?
PlayStation 2.
Shadow of the Colossus was really the kind of the first of its kind, right? Yeah. Like huge monsters that you would have to ride up to or whatever, walk up to and have to climb. Mm-hmm. Like you have to beat the Colossuses or the bosses, you'd have to climb through all this stuff. About to climb on their back, their shoulders, wherever it came through, and do certain things to defeat them and bring them down. And eventually, this was this the one that just recently got remastered? Like a few years ago.
Yeah, well, it was 2018.
And they made something similar to it, I think.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, you had to go around. This is the one you had to beat the 16 colossal creatures.
Yeah. 2000. Yeah, I think. Yeah, it was PlayStation 2 though. But Shadow of the Colossus. I mean, it was a fun game. I played it. I remember I played this game and beat it. But it was it's kind of. I would say it is kind of the first of its kind. Can I remember playing anything like this? How big these monsters were. And then they made like another one similar to it called Guardians or something like that. Let me see if I can pull that one up. Let's see, Shadow of Colossus.
So this game was actually remastered so it came out in 2005, and it was remastered in 2011 for the PlayStation 3, and then again for the PlayStation 4. By Bluepoint.
So this one, it wasn't a sequel, but the most recent one that's similar to this called The Last Guardian.
Mm-hmm.
It had the same concept of Shadow of the Colossus. That's what I was thinking of too. But Shadow of the Colossus, dude, I mean, it was a fun game.
It was cool.
And it brought like those big skill epic boss battles. Eventually you see that in later games too, that they just had huge bosses that you had to fight.
So I mean, what was cool about it was like it didn't have any random enemies in this game. No random dungeons.
Puzzle solver too.
Yeah. So it's kind of like a mix between Myst in a way. And
kinda, yeah.
Well, I mean, just like from the problem solving aspect.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you fought the Colossi. I mean, that's all you fought. I mean, that was it.
Yeah.
So it was this problem is that, and then fighting those big ass enemies.
Yeah, but it brought that grand skill, like epic skill battle of you versus you're this kid or whatever, fighting these huge monsters.
There's a lot of people who couldn't play this game because they have a I'm gonna call it a disease. It's a fear of large objects. You ever heard of that?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. What is that called?
Let me see. Let me Google it. What's the fear of? Fear of large.
Megalophobia.
Yeah, that's it.
Slow
Yep.
Googler.
Yeah,
Slow.
Well, here's the thing: is like when I typed it was only caps locks, and I'm weird. I had to delete it and then go back, take off the caps locks. I don't know. Megalophobia. Yeah. So they couldn't play that. A lot of people couldn't play this game because of that. I say a lot. I say a lot. I don't know how many people have fear of.
You got a count, buddy?
Well, let me. You know
You got
what?
a count on us?
I have an item that can tell me.
Yeah.
Let's see. How many people? Many people have megalophobia.
One in how many?
It says, however, it's estimated that 7 to 10% of the population has a specific phobia. Okay, including. Okay, that didn't tell me anything.
Oh God!
Worst Googler ever.
Garbage.
You're
the top 10 worst Googlers of all time. You'd be number one. Straight number
see.
one.
Well, it's their fault for telling me that.
Okay,
Like,
Rocky Dennis, what are you doing? You don't know how to Google?
Let me see. Let me ask something more advanced.
Oh God, you have to use AI now?
Yes,
You don't know what to type in?
I do.
Excuse me, chat GPT. Can you tell me what to type into Google to get this?
There
That's
is
what
no
you do
exact
right now.
statistics. Sorry, I can't help you. But it did say that every 1 out of 10 person has a
1
this
out
is
of
crazy.
10?
Yeah, 1 out of 10 person has some type of phobia. I go ahead and tell you, I'm arachnophobic.
Well, yeah, one out of 10 I would believe of.
Are you phobic? Are you phobic of anything?
I don't like to be. I'm not claustrophobic, but I don't like to be restrained in any type way.
Like, do you like being in large crowds of people, or does that bother you?
I'm big, so that doesn't matter. That doesn't bother me.
I got you.
You know what I mean? Because I'm 6'5". I just bulldoze over people, but I'm not. I don't like being restrained. Like if you put me inside a small area that I can still kind of move around in, I'm not claustrophobic. But if you got me like, say you tie a rope around my shoulders or something like that, I don't like that.
Kind of like Houdini. Like if you couldn't do Houdini tricks.
No, I couldn't do that.
I got you.
Yeah, I don't like that stuff. But like if I'm in a tight space, I'm fine. But I just can't be restrained. I don't know what kind of fear that is.
No, I'm
Why
not.
don't you Google it?
Fear of a fear of tight spaces?
A fear of being restrained or any type of
fear of being restrained.
I know what tight spaces is. That's claustrophobia.
Yeah, it's called merenthiophobia.
No, never mind.
No, that's what it's called. The fear of being restrained is called merenthiophobia.
You saying that right?
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of what I got.
It's from the Greek word merenthos.
Oh, thank you, Grant.
You're welcome.
Well, our gamer rant has gotten off topic.
Yeah, we've gone way offhand.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, Shadow of the Colossus, guys. It was a fun game. It was a good game at the time. One of first of its kind, I would say, at least from what I remember of games back then. That was the first game I ever played like it. But fantastic game. If you guys want something similar that's more next gen, I would say Last Guardian. Play that.
Hey, at least I know if me and you ever like sparred, I know what I'd do. I'd just go get a fucking like a cowboy rope and just tie you.
You wouldn't even be able to do that.
You
probably don't know how to tie a rope knot.
Fucking cowboy.
You don't know how to do that.
Well, if I put him in a cowboy rope, boy, you go fucking hyperventilate.
I'll break free.
That's all right. That's how you throw a daddy long legs on me. I'm a fucking.
I'll pull you with me.
Hey, you throw a daddy long legs on me. I'm a hyperventilate.
Spiders at you, and you probably.
Dude, I'd cry. Dude, it would be bad.
Dude, I remember you were so scared of those spiders in Resident Evil.
Dude, it was dude. I hate them.
First Resident Evil.
Let me tell you something. I hate all arachnids. I'm very arachnophobic. I hate fucking scorpions. I just hate them, man. Like I can't stand looking at them. The crazy thing is I'm not scared of. People are like, the people are terrified of snakes, dude. I'm not terrified of snakes. Like snakes. Like here's the thing is, I don't like freak out about them. I mean, I avoid them. Like I don't just like walk over like, hey, how you doing? Because you know what I mean. Because I can easily turn around and bite you. I'm not trying to get bit, but they don't bother me. Now, I will say this: when it comes to being arachnophobic, if I see a spider like way over there, doesn't bother me. Even if it's kind of close to me, it doesn't bother me. Yeah. But if that motherfucker's like in distance where it can be on me, oh yeah, I'm done. I remember one time we had a old sewing machine. It was an antique sewing machine, and my dad was cleaning it, and he found that it had a Black Widow in it.
Mm.
And the thing dropped down of it. And my dad, my dad's a big man. Dude, my dad looked like 𝐟𝐸𝐫𝐿 from Ninja Gaiden because it dropped on the floor and started coming after him. Like,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, dude, he started crawling after him. Dude, he did like a super 𝐬𝐻𝐾𝐭 backflip.
Oh, you'd hate camel spiders aren't technically spiders.
No, I don't know. I've seen them.
Camel spiders are a
Nope.
little aggressive sons of bitches.
Nope. I would look, I would, if
Those
it was
things
on
will
me,
come after you.
nope, I would kill myself if it was on me. Like,
And what's messed up about them, if you're sleeping, they like kind of, when they bite you, you can't feel it because they inject some type of, I don't know if it's called neurotoxin, but you can't feel them biting you. And they chew on you.
Oh, no,
They're like I said, they're not technically a spider, but they're little mean-looking some bitches.
Nah,
we had those in Iraq all the time.
I go ahead and tell you, they'd already sent me home. from because as soon as I saw that thing, I'm shooting. I'm taking the M16.
I had a friend
shooting my leg.
We were out there waiting on a convoy or something. We were out on some pad in the desert, and I was just sitting down eating an MRE or something, and I saw one of my Marines running like all the way across the yard, and he just was dashing, yelling, screaming, like loud as hell, like running, dude, full sprint.
You probably thought you were like under attack or something.
Yeah, I was like, oh shit! So I grabbed my M16, my gear, and everything. I told everyone to get the hell up and get ready. And it turns out he was getting chased by a camel spider.
Oh no!
It wasn't like chasing him all the way, but it came at him. And
in his mind, it was probably moving a lot faster than it was. Oh
yeah, dude. But anyway, like, but I remember, didn't the third Lord of the Rings with Shelob or whatever? You watch that with the spider? No,
it was terrible. It was terrible, dude. Let me tell you the thing that almost this was a couple years ago. This was about 4 years ago. So I was cutting grass from my brother's company, and I was on the mower, right? And I went through a web with one of those those Chinese writing spiders. Like the ones that you see in people's windows, dude. It was on my face, dude. I fell off the mower. Like, luckily the mower cuts off, because if the mower would have ran over me had it not, if it didn't have that mechanism on me, dude. I was awful, dude. I was rolling around. I was like slapping my face, dude. It was terrible.
Yeah, that's funny because like I'm wary of the poison spiders, right? Mm-hmm. Poisonous, venomous spiders, but like wolf spiders, jumping spiders, like garden spiders, I don't care about.
Yeah,
I can pick them up and just throw them outside.
Yeah, no, not me.
But yeah, it's just crazy how fear.
I feel like if I picked it up, I'd have to cut my fingers off.
People have.
Yeah. No, that's bad. I'm not doing all that. So, long story short, guys, if you ever want to beat up me and Ed, all you got to do is tie him up and throw a spider on me, and that's it. We're done. That's it.
Throw a lasso around me.
That's it. That's our weaknesses.
All right, Grant. All right, so that was it. That was the Disgruntled Gamer Rant, or excuse me, the Game Gambit.
What if I gave you a big hug? Like, what about a bear hug?
I don't care about hugs.
Okay,
man. It's different. It's just those different.
Gotcha.
But anyway, so yeah, that wraps up the podcast, everyone. Again, if you have top 10s, comment on videos, follow us on all of our socials: YouTube, Rumble, Twitch, X, TikTok. And check out our podcast, which are always available in a few hours, or at least the next day, on Apple and Spotify. Like
it'll be up today.
Okay,
we're back in the
Apple,
saddle.
Spotify, or any podcast platform you use. These episodes will have an audio format. Okay.
Great. I forgot to ask you, how was your New Year's?
It's good. I didn't do anything. I just watched some fireworks with my kids late that night outside, because our neighborhood does a lot of fireworks over the pond. Nice. Yeah. What do you do?
He had to look out from his mansion.
You get a little fiesta? You went to a little fiesta?
Actually, I was very fortunate, because my wife got tired.
You were not looking forward to that.
No, my wife got tired, and she was like, I want to go home. I was like, yes, me too. I agreed with her. Nice. Look, I left no loopholes for her to say, well, maybe I changed my mind. I was like, no, I'm tired too. Let's go.
You just grabbed her and
dude, I was agreeing to things. I was like, look, we'll go home and we'll watch a movie. We'll watch whatever you want. I swear we can watch whatever movie you want.
Give you a back rub and everything.
Yeah, I swear. I was laying it all out.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah. All right, Grant. 1 hour and 45 minutes.
That's good.
All right.
So, all right, guys. Well, we appreciate y'all tuning in.
Thank you for watching, everybody.
Thank you for watching, everybody. Go and follow us on.
Echo me? What,
No, you didn't say it with enough oomph or gumption. You just kind of said it like one of these worst RPG characters.
You calling me Tosh?
I'm calling you Edward the Bard. That's just you. That's you.
My first name is Edward.
That's right.
My name was ruined by like Twilight. You know, Edward from Twilight. My name was just completely butchered.
Yeah. They thought you looked like Robert Pattinson, and then they saw you. They're like, this is Robert Pattinson. I'm sorry. It was right there. It was right there for the taking.
Oh, shit. All right. Let's end it.
All right, guys. Go follow us on X. Go follow us on YouTube. Go follow us on Apple and Spotify, TikTok, Instagram. We have one. We don't use it, but we have one. Follow us if you want to. But yeah, man. Anything else you got to say?
Nope.
Anything else? That's it. All right, guys. Y'all have a good weekend. We'll see y'all Tuesday. Peace.
Peace.